Do you want to know which states are the best to recover from a recession? For the past few months, there's been this talk about a looming recession. Some may disagree with that statement and say we already are in a recession. Other people are saying the recession hasn't even hit yet, but it's coming. Who knows? Do you want to know which states are the best to recover from a recession? I got your back. I'm talking to you this week about the 10 best states that would recover from a recession, pretty much recession proof. And if this is something that you're going to want to know about, and because if you're thinking about moving somewhere and you don't want to worry about this so-called recession, if and when it comes, you're going to want to watch this video. So let's get started. As I said, there's all this talk about this looming recession and everyone's kind of freaking out about it. I mean, look what's gone on this past year. Feds keep raising the rates. Mortgage rates are through the roof. Cost of living in general is just outrageous right now. Everyone's like feeling it and they're freaking out about it. So if you're thinking about making a move and you want to relocate to another state,
I'm definitely moving to Canada.
Here is a list of some states that have been shown to be recession proof. Now, I got this information from a report from National Business Capital. This is their inaugural report of the best states to recover from a recession. And this is for this year, 2023. I saw this. I'm like, you know what? I got to share it with you guys because, you know, that's what I do. I like to find these things and give you all the information, all the facts to help you make a good, educated decision about your next move.
Genius. Let's do this.
Now, the way they came up with this list, they followed the following metrics. They took a look at the state reserve balances, meaning how much money is sitting in the bank at the state level. That's important. They also looked at the state GDP per capita, the household debt to income ratio, unemployment insurance coverage, unemployment rate, housing affordability, effective tax rates, and the Great Recession GDP change, meaning they looked back to see how those states fared during the Great Recession in 2008. I will tell you, majority of these states on this list are located in the upper Midwest. I know, not ideal, cold weather. I get it. I totally get it.
It's about time. Sweater weather. Finally, sweater weather.
But if being financially stable and feeling like you can want to live comfortably, maybe you should give up the warm weather to move to one of these states if that's your thing. So let's get into this list right now. First, we have North Dakota. What makes North Dakota so great and what made this list? They have a strong energy-based economy, a low unemployment rate, and ample reserves in the state funds. And here's a fun fact. North Dakota was one of the few states that really weathered the Great Recession back in 2008. As a matter of fact, North Dakota saw a 20% increase in their GDP. The only downfall to North Dakota is their housing affordability and the household debt to income ratio is on the higher side. So affordability is a little bit of a challenge there. Next, we have Alaska. Nearly half of all Alaskan households can afford the median home price in Alaska, which that's a really good thing. They also have the lowest effective tax rate, ample money in the government funds, and they also have a strong GDP per capita. The only downfall to Alaska is they do tend to have a higher unemployment rate that is trending upwards.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
Next, we have Nebraska. Nebraska's current unemployment rate is less than 2%. Holy cow, that's like almost unheard of. Low household debt to income ratio, and they do also have plenty of money in their government funds. However, the unemployment insurance coverage is not so stellar. The only downfall in Nebraska is they do not have the best unemployment insurance coverage, but they already have just low unemployment as it is. So, you know, there's that. That kind of washes that out, right? Next, we have the great state of Wyoming. Here's a fun fact. Wyoming has so much money in their rainy day fund at the state level, they can run their state government for an entire year without having to tap into any outside assistance. Holy cow, that is incredible. The other positives to Wyoming is they have a low effective tax burden and they have a strong GDP. The one downfall to the state is they do have a higher unemployment rate.
Bald men with no jobs and no money who live with their parents don't approach strange women.
Next on the list we have is Minnesota. Now, with all the metrics that I listed above, like how they came up with this list, Minnesota pretty much checked all the boxes on those metrics. with the exception of the tax burden. They have pretty high taxes in that state. However, their unemployment insurance coverage is really strong. It's really good. So you get what you pay for when you're paying those high taxes.
What? Guy in a suit? No! It's a tax collector! Hi there, SpongeBob!
Next, we have Wisconsin. Wisconsin actually tied Minnesota for 5th place on this list. Wisconsin has excellent government reserves, a good household debt-to-income ratio, and low unemployment. However, housing costs can become an issue. Housing can be pretty expensive there.
I think if the Houston Zoo is going to charge me $72 for me and my family to go in, we ought to be able to eat one of the animals in the place.
Next, we have Massachusetts. Now, I was a little surprised to see Massachusetts, I'm not going to lie. Massachusetts is the only eastern state that made this list. The reason they made this list is because they do have a strong GDP, and they have a very generous unemployment assistance program. The biggest downfall to Massachusetts, though, is the housing cost. Not cheap to buy a house there. So, but then again, that's the East Coast. Are you going to find a cheap house on the East Coast these days? I'm not thinking you can. Next on the list is South Dakota. South Dakota has a lower unemployment rate, a low household debt-to-income ratio, and they also have a low tax rate. But their unemployment insurance coverage is not the best. If you happen to lose your job, make sure you have a lot of money saved up in savings to cover those times that you're out of work.
So, working hard or hardly working?
Moving on to the state of Indiana. Now, the reason why Indiana made this list is because of their manageable household debt-to-income ratio and the low effective tax burden. But looking back to the Great Recession in 2008, Indiana didn't do so well. As a matter of fact, the state took a really heavy blow, and their GDP was down to 2.6%. Not good. Last on our list is West Virginia. West Virginia made this list because they have one of the lowest housing costs in the country, decent household debt-to-income ratio, and they have really good unemployment insurance coverage. So believe it or not, West Virginia is a good option if you're looking to escape this recession and live comfortably. If you're thinking about relocating to any of these states or pretty much anywhere else in the country, I have a link down below with Home and Money. You can click on that and it could get you referred to a real estate agent in the area that you're looking to move to. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you want to see where the most affordable places to live in this country are, you can check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching me today. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time. Oh my God. 10 in that car. They don't, or there's that. No, don't say that. What? No, Indiana does have a strong, oh my God. Sorry, scratch that, Jen, do it again. I'm struggling, Jen. I am struggling with this one. Can't do this today. Anyway.